The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
He is a manufactured person. And the conclusion I've come to is that he is a foreign plant. Have you considered the possibility that he is a foreign agent?
At this point, I could not rule out any possibility, although I cannot make any accusation either. All I can tell you right now is I have an individual that I can't track his roots. You go to a certain depth into the background, and the trail ends. And that's where our biggest problem is with this.
But only intelligence agencies have the capability of doing something like this, Mike.
Well, as part of our investigation, we contacted the federal government employee services, which he would fall under. And we were told specifically by them that there is no vetting of a U.S. president, no vetting of a president-elect, and no vetting of the president. There's no agency on record that looks into this. We were told it is done by the Constitution, the loyal opposition, and the media. So there is no vetting of the background. When you have the media in the bag for an individual like they are for this man, there is no vetting process. And on top of that, the certifications received by all states in the Union regarding his ability to be placed on a ballot from the Democratic National Committee. The Democratic National Committee said that he meets the qualifications to be president by their standards, not by constitutional standards. That language was omitted, Congress. We believe our evidence will stand up in any courtroom if this thing ever got into a courtroom.
I don't believe I don't think Speaker Boehner will let you do it. I think he's in on it.
Well, I would agree with you, but you know something? If you get enough public outcry behind you, public outrage behind you, that moves mountains. And that's what we're going to have to work on. We've got the evidence. We've got the goods. Now it's just trying to find somebody to hear it. And, there's people out there that are clamoring for us to file charges, make a complaint, bring it to the state attorney general's office. There's problems with that. And one of the biggest problems is the clock will run almost indefinitely. If we were to file a charge today, if we were to get an indictment today, that wouldn't get adjudicated with all the delays and tactics that they can do for 4, 5, 6 years. We don't have that time. We've got to get it to Congress. A select committee needs to be appointed to make the inquiry, maybe a special prosecutor that does not answer to the DOJ, but that's what needs to be done. And that's what people have to gear up for and know that they're going to really have to make their voices heard like they've never been heard before. Because what effectively is happening, and I agree with you with the Speaker of the House, the American people's voice has been silenced on this issue because they refuse to deal with it. But we have evidence now. I have real evidence. This is not, somebody thinking that it's this or making a conclusion by jumping from A, B to D. This is evidence. This is provable. It's verified. It's real. This thing is a fake. And there's only one or two reasons why you make a document like this. Either it never existed before, or you made it to add, conceal, or erase certain information. Those are the only reasons. There's no other reason to make this.
Would you describe any of the evidence that you have as the smoking gun?
Some of it we do, and I can't disclose to you what it is. We do have what you would call a smoking gun. I mean, I could probably name 11 different things in this document that on any witness stand, any forensic document examiner would have to say the document is suspect and therefore null and void. But we have uncovered, as of recently as 6 weeks ago, some new information that removes any doubt what was done here. Just removes any doubt. So as far as the document itself, we stand ready to prove the document was fraudulent. The problem that we have now, not so much a problem, where we need to further the investigation, is to determine what information was either changed, concealed, or erased. That's what we have to figure out.
And do you have fingerprints? Do you have fingerprints? When I'm talking about fingerprints, do you have names, faces, people that you could say we know for a fact that individual was involved in this crime?
I don't have a number one suspect, if that's what you're asking me.
Right.
This would take further investigation. This is going to go into Hawaii. Hawaii, if for lack of a better word, has their fingerprints on this to some extent. We did get a verification request from our Secretary of State asking for the document to be verified. And the verification that Hawaii ultimately sent back, which was actually fought over for about 3 months, and as fate would have it, after we knocked on the door to interview the registrar of the Department of Health in Hawaii, which they declined, miraculously they decided to give the verification the next day after we knocked on that door. But the verification never verified the creation of the PDF file. It merely says that they verify that the information on the document we provided matches what's in the record. That's not a verification of the birth certificate itself. It just says there's matching record information. The problem with Hawaii is the way their statutes are, those records can be amended numerous ways, even by the individual who's on the birth certificate self-reporting to change information. So we don't know what's in those birth records. But we do believe that when Mr. Obama asked his attorney to go down and pick up 2 certified copies, hard paper copies of his birth certificate, we have never seen them. The public has never seen them. And we think there's something on that certificate that necessitated the creation of this fraudulent document.
And the fact that he instructed his attorney to do it, does that protect the attorney from being required to answer any questions?
Well, I think at some point that attorney-client privilege may be, not as strong as they think. Depends on how this gets done. It depends on where this thing gets, dealt with. If it's in front of...
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.